welcome back to another episode of Side Note, the podcast dedicated to underground electronic dance music and all things related. This week, my pleasure to introduce to you all Dark Portals, the very stylish Dark Portals. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I like to kind of generally start off most interviews with kind of what was your last show like, or what was your last weekend? Give us a snapshot of the life of a up and coming DJ in LA.
So I played the Club Fallout Acid night.
Okay.
The first one they did. I think that was it's probably November 15th.
Okay.
So a little under a month now, and it was lit. It was in a newer space that they've been using in downtown. It's the one with the big Blacklight King mural.
Okay.
It's really cool looking. It was a nice party. It was fun, break beats, acid.
Oh, awesome.
A lot of different techno
Love
played
it.
for Los Angeles because they're on that really hard-hitting industrial stuff right now, I feel like, out here.
Yeah, that's definitely very big at this moment.
Oh, yeah. It's funny because it's really cool to see some artists that don't normally play acid-based or progressive stuff, but they came out and they showed what's up with that kind of techno, and it was really cool.
Did you have like a particular vibe you were trying to go for that night?
Yeah, I was kind of like diving into Asquith's label,
Okay.
Lobster Theremin.
Do you follow his memes?
Oh God!
Yeah, they're
can't stop
pretty
looking
good.
at them.
They're pretty
It's
good.
so funny. I love his kind of selection of the new rave and breaks with that. It's kind of like a little bit more upbeat trance feel.
Trance forward.
I was even hesitant to say it, but yeah, trance forward, like deep, heavy, big breaks. And I was playing a lot of jungle.
Wow, okay.
I love 90s.
Okay.
I couldn't help myself. And yeah, it was cool. I got to play some of my favorite records from growing up, and yeah, it was a good time.
Awesome. And I guess talk about that, because I've listened through to a bunch of your mixes on SoundCloud and whatnot, and I definitely notice a lot of range there. So
Yeah.
You've got a New Year's mix that's kind of very burner-esque, kind of progressive, and then you've got some stuff that's kind of on the more like industrial techno tip.
Yeah.
I guess talk about your influences and how you came into this music.
I have just been following the house and techno scene through probably what most people consider just the like main figures, like Marcel Detman, DJ
Right.
Stingray, let's see, The Prodigy.
Awesome.
Just the people who are the core of our foundation and our music, in my opinion. And just through that, I've just started to find like more offshoots of what people are playing, because there's so much music out there, like I don't think that there's a type of music for any one time. That I think that when people play music, that for me, I find things get repetitive, and I really like to hear people like read vibes and read the crowd, and I think that's what really appeals to like Marcel to me. And
Right.
If you listen to him online, he plays everything, just everything under the sun, and it's quite dynamic and impressive. And I love to try and find stuff. Like I love jazz and I love old soul and R&B, and I love trying to find music that really has the same features and sound design from those things, so it kind of just feels like me.
Got it. Definitely not the first time that Marcel Detman has been shouted out on this pod as like a huge inspiration.
It's the GOAT.
Gia from 6 a.m., who was on here a few weeks ago.
That was a great podcast.
Thank you. I remember asking him, what was the inflection point for him in terms of techno? Because 6 a.m. today, that's all in on the industrial techno. You know, it's sort of a evolution from I think where they started, and
It's insane to see their progression. It's so cool.
Yeah, and he had mentioned that he went to a Marcel Detman party, I think thrown by I think it was a Droid Behavior folks, which I think is Truncate, right?
Yeah, I think that's Truncate, Drum Cell.
Yeah.
I think maybe Developer.
Yeah. So that crew.
Mix, yeah.
And he told me it was their 10-year party, so they'd been doing it for 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
He hears Marcel Detman for the first time and has this sort of, like spiritual experience, like, oh, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. Like he said it blew his mind, and now we have the 6 a.m. empire today. So you're definitely in good company in terms of.
It's funny how that comes to be.
Yeah.
You just hear something and you're like, wow.
Yeah.
This is it.
Like for me, the goats are Sasha and John Digweed.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's like coming up for me, I was like into that sort of like real like kind of bubblegum trance, like ATB and Ferry Corsten kind of stuff.
Nice.
And then when I heard like Sasha and Digweed for the first time, which was definitely like a more serious kind of vibe, right? That was like the this is my jam. But yeah, I would say that they and Marcel Detman are certainly in the pantheon of big time masters.
Oh yeah, it's funny because I just enjoy looking for music too. Like I just love sharing what I find. Like the person I look up to most is Audio J.
Okay.
He's been like kind of like my mentor in all of this.
Okay.
And we just like take time to go look for records and just
you still physically go buy vinyl?
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it. I can't stop. It's so funny. I just love sharing the stuff I find because it's kind of like people who collect antiques.
Agreed.
It's some people just like, I don't know if you've ever heard somebody put a song on in the car and you're like, what is this? Whoa.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. It's maybe like, it's the best feeling in the world to me.
I certainly fall prey to that feeling, although like I refer to it as like track ID-itis. Right, where it's like you hear something, I need this track ID, like.
Oh my god!
Right,
yeah.
and as we know, like it's been memed about DJs, ad nauseum.
I was fighting it. I had to turn my phone off at ETAP Kyle last night. I was like, oh god.
Oh, at where?
ETAP Kyle at Lights Down Low last night.
Oh, you were at that party. Okay,
yeah, it was so good.
Awesome. Okay, I haven't heard of that DJ, but I know that their parties are always like pretty fire, and they bring in like great talent. Didn't they bring in? They brought in special secret guest, and it turned out to be Jamie XX. I was so bummed that I didn't buy the tickets for that.
You should just buy him if you see this special guest on LDL. In my opinion, it's
That's
so
true.
funny.
That's true.
It was a sick night last night. They do a great job. They get talent that I don't necessarily see on other people's lineups, which is so cool.
Yeah, and I think they're the ones that they did the Boiler Room with Mesme and all of that, right?
Oh, that was so sick.
Did you go to that?
I wish.
Okay.
I wasn't vaccinated yet, so I was like,
I forget. I think I was maybe out of town or something that weekend, because otherwise I would have gone. Mesme is definitely someone, I don't know if you've heard her.
Oh,
She's amazing.
Incredible.
Definitely want to get her on at some point. She's
selector.
quite elusive, but yeah, she's an amazing selector.
Yeah.
First time I heard her play was at Into the Woods.
Great. Another great party.
Yeah. Been trying to get Jimmy on. Jimmy also a very great selector. But I've talked about it on the show before. Like we are totally in the golden age of rave in LA.
I think so too. It's incredible at the amount of stuff popping up outdoors in the alleyways now.
Yeah.
Like more than ever before. It's not like it never was here, but
right.
It's just people are coming out of the woodworks, throwing parties and doing podcast stuff like this. And it's so incredible to see people in LA putting themselves to work finally.
Yeah. I mean, and I was talking about it with someone on the show where it's it feels like as bad as the pandemic has been, it's definitely been like a catalyst for people to get more creative and to really kind of like be their true selves, which has been great to see.
It's kind of a weird thing, but I kind of love what happened with my life with it. It was bad at first, obviously, like the whole adjustments, but I love how things have played out. It's kind of cool. Like, I can watch people spinning online now,
Right.
more than ever.
Right.
It's cool. Like, it's not just Horror Berlin. It's
Right.
so much more than that now. It's like you go in Beatport and there's people spinning on Beatport.
That's true.
Now.
Which I don't know how I feel about, like,
Don't love that.
off.
Oh, it's gone right away. But it's the idea.
Just the fact that it's happening.
Oh yeah, people are going crazy, and they're people like I don't know if you listen to any, like, I don't even know what to call it. If you know who Sabo and Goldcap are.
Yeah, like total like burner, like Playa vibes.
Playa vibe. Yeah, that's literally what I'd call it, Playa vibes. They did this crazy stream out. It looked like it was in the Mojave here, but it was at a sunrise, and it was like 4 hours, and they had these candles and an incredible rug, and it was just beautiful.
Wow.
And like, it was nice to see other people doing some stuff that was like one and done on YouTube for a while.
Yeah, there's definitely like a lot of production now that goes into these sort of live streams, or obviously like Cirque is huge.
Yeah, they're so good at what they do though.
They are.
It's impressive.
And whoever, like, they're French. It feels very French, and whoever, like, those French guys, they knew what they're doing. They're like, oh, we're going to shoot in front of the big castle. And they're like delivering it.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah.
It's every time, like the air balloons on the fjords in Norway. It's like, how do you?
Yeah.
I was working with this group of artists, probably about a year ago now, almost. Maybe not. I don't know. Time's an illusion.
Yeah. Especially post-pandemic, right?
Oh yeah, it's all blended together in one big block.
Yeah.
But we were starting to shoot some live stream stuff, and it's so funny because we got a big old reality check
In terms
of
of
just going out to the desert and trying to shoot live streams and shooting it in the LA forest, and we're just having technical issue on technical issue.
Because you got to bring the Jenny.
Oh, yeah.
You got to set that up right. Make sure it's not too close to the DJ booth.
Yeah.
And then you got to get the sound.
Oh, it's just problems but it was so fun to put that part of problem solving and DJing together for us, at least for me. I loved the opportunity that it gave me to start being a little bit more creative than being like, when's the next show I'm going to play? When's the next show I'm going to play?
Or being reliant on somebody else to create an avenue for you to play, right? To be creative.
I'd never thought of it that way, but I mean, like, I was entirely reliant on somebody doing something for me to do what I like to do.
Yeah.
And now it's like, you got to take an alternate route if you really want to make it right now, it seems. And a lot of people are really showing where their skills show up.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of what the internet has done for music and done for creativity, that you can take things in your own hands. Like, having grown up here, I remember sort of, when Hollywood, like the Hollywood machine was like the dominant thing here, and you would hear, or friends that you would have, or friends of friends, actors, and which still happens, right? But so beholden to the machine. Like, oh, I got an agent at CAA, and they're putting me up for an audition, and it's for this network show that's going to be on NBC, and like, I need this so bad, right? And like, everyone just like such a slave to the machine.
It's like an episode of BoJack Horseman.
Yeah. And now it's like, oh, you can literally like film your own sitcom with your friends, put it on YouTube, and it could be an overnight sensation.
Oh my gosh. It's so crazy like, my girlfriend has a degree in marketing, and with the pandemic, I just started thinking, I was like, well, I should have done that. There's people that just, I don't know if they're like really talented or really skilled at marketing what they can do to get people to pay attention to it. And it's incredible because stuff is posted, and you're right, it's overnight sensational.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the dark side of that is like, it's a lot of work, right? So you really got to hustle to like get your name out there, to like get your follows up, and it's like that can be a treadmill.
That kind of energy.
Yeah, same. Some people are really good at it. You know, a lot of the people that I've interviewed on this show are really good at kind of like keeping that hustle going.
Oh gosh, that's such a admirable trait to me, because I think that's what, when I think of trying to make it, and I'm thinking in my head like, how am I going to do this? It's like you got to have some way to present yourself, and those people who are like Gia really comes to mind. Yeah, with 6 a.m. It's so impressive.
Oh yeah, like I mean, they're putting out so much content all the time. I feel like there's posts constantly, there's events constantly, they're plugging merch. It's just like all encompassing, and I don't know how it's sustained, but it's really impressive.
Yeah, people are machines.
Yeah. I mean, though I will say, you know, I looked through your gram, and I definitely love kind of what you're putting out there. You know, it's like a very sort of, I think the way I would describe it is like aesthete. Like that's sort of your vibe. Like I'm an aesthete. I think it comes through in like kind of the photos you put up and, you know, the music you're putting out. So I appreciate that.
It's funny because I feel like I have like two sides to me, and like, that's funny that you like my Instagram. I was telling my girlfriend today, I was like, I don't like my Instagram. I got to do something about this. And I think it's because I think looking at what DJs are posting all the time, just like the people who just X, Y, and Z people look up to, it's like they seem to have this regular stream of content. And it's kind of hard for me to align myself with that. I just don't really want to do that, you know? And I kind of like, I love men's fashion. It's so funny. And I feel like that's something that you don't really see DJs doing. Yeah. So it was kind of a big question mark. I was posting them on a private page for a while, and then I was kind of like,
Yeah, I mean, because I think you, like, definitely, especially in this age, right, where you got to hustle yourself a little bit and kind of put yourself out there, you know, to have a distinct sort of brand personality to associate with your music is kind of a must. And I would say that you know, from what I've seen on your gram, it is like very distinct. I don't know of any other like house or techno DJs that are plugging. Like Dixon kind of has a thing, but it's a different vibe, right?
Yeah, I like him. He's incredible. I love the edits he plays, and oh my god, I love that you brought him up. He's a fascinating character.
Dixon's a goat too.
Oh yeah.
Back when RA used to do like their top DJs of the year thing, which they got rid of because they thought it was problematic. I mean, I have no opinion on that except that I did like the lists.
I kind of like seeing who they thought was really good.
Yeah. But so he was number one for like years on years. So he's definitely a goat. Yeah. Wow. And I've you know, like he's had like the whole Louis Vuitton sponsorships, and his gram is always like him wearing like crazy outfits and stuff.
Oh yeah, I
love like the polarization too, because I'll see some of that and be like, dude, that is fucking fire. Like, how do I get that outfit?
You know, it's so funny because that's like, you're right. That's Dixon's probably the only person that I'm like, oh my goodness, you're an Instagram model too. Basically. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Well, Peggy.
Oh. Yeah. Say less. Yeah.
Yeah. Peggy Goo.
Another female goat right there.
I haven't seen her play live yet.
She's sick.
She's coming here. She's playing in Palm Springs like in a few weeks.
Oh yeah, I think Dixon's playing.
Yeah, both of them.
That's funny.
I think I want to go, but I feel like there's always so much other shit going on. It's hard on top of like regular life.
That's a send if you make the Palm Springs drive.
Well, yeah, and I think they do it at the Air Museum, which I heard is a cool venue.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But that'll be cool, for whoever goes. I am going to. Have you heard of City Fox? Like they're a promoter.
There's so many promoters.
Yeah. They used to like do a lot more. They're more like East Coast based, but they used to do a lot more here. But they're doing like a partnership with the Brooklyn Mirage.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and they're doing like a festival in Mexico called Departures in January. Yeah. So I'm gonna hit that up for sure, and Peggy will be there. So hopefully get to scratch that off the bucket list.
She can be great.
But yeah, I mean, I think she, you know, to our conversation, she's another one of those who has like clearly established a very distinct sort of brand image on top of the music she plays. I mean, if you think about it, every DJ, whether or not they want to or not, has kind of a brand image.
I think that's what's so appealing about house and techno specifically in electronic music is I love how DJs are just themselves, and their brandage image is kind of just them going around on planes. You're like, I like this person, and it's basically just
it's just them being them, right?
It's just them being them.
You like them being them, and therefore it makes you more of a fan of their music.
Yeah, it's a really cool part of our music, I think, because some people don't even post pictures of themselves. They just post records, or,
right?
You know, and it's but people have these deep found social media connections with them.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And then I've seen it go the other way too, where it's like, oh, I think you're a really good DJ, and I think like you're talented, but the image that you're putting out there isn't like marketable, or it's like there's something off about the image that you're putting out there, and it shouldn't be that way, you know, but that is the reality of it. And I definitely have seen that too, where it's I
agree. Yeah. It's, I always wonder why that is, but I don't know. Social media is a weird.
It's such a weird thing.
It's a weird cyber world.
Yeah, we're like falling into Black Mirror, and you know,
oh my god,
all of that.
Oh yeah.
So you know, I think you had mentioned to me that you know you were working some parties. Like you said, you were working a dialogue event. So what's the context there?
No, I ended up not.
Okay.
I've been wanting to. I have a friend that sometimes does some technician stuff.
Oh,
okay. With them. I don't know what he does, honestly. But I love what they do. I love what they do, man. They got something special when not every time for me, but because I don't love all house. Tech house gets a little, ugh.
Same.
Gets my skin crawling. But yeah, they throw some really proper events, and I'm so out of touch with the house community here. I feel like I don't know anyone, and I was like bugging one of my buddies. I was like, I want to move speakers or something.
Do you know Colin Rodriguez? Are you friends with him?
No.
He was on the show. He's like a sound guy, so he owns like a really sick setup, and
that's awesome.
Promoters hire him out to do sound for their place. So he did a recent 6 a.m. party.
Oh, no way. And
then he's always like, I feel like he's maybe done a few dialogue parties as well.
Yeah, they're closely connected, I think.
Yeah.
I just went to their where are my keys at? Where's my keys?
Yeah. Oh, with Craig Richards, you went to that party?
Richards, oh boy, that
dude.
Was lit. And this is my regular problem. I was like, I just want to know more people that do this, because this is so beyond me that I was sleeping on all these parties for so long. Cyclone and Dialogue and stuff. I was just sleeping on it. I was techno. And I listened to so much house, and my girlfriend loves house. And she's like, let's go listen to house music. And I was like, all right. And for the last 6 months, I've just been, I can't get enough of what they do. Yeah. It's just.
And I wouldn't even really call like it's not house, right? It's like, it's house and techno. It's both. Right, like when Craig Richards plays, like
he's playing.
It's all over the gamut, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like,
very New York.
Yeah, totally. So when people are like, "Oh, like I don't like house," I'm like, "Well, that's not what you'll be getting at a party." So
yeah, and I feel like that is the case. Maybe like back in the day, there was like house or techno.
Yeah,
or there was artists that played house and techno, but now it's like there's so many people. There's so much different. There are so many more subgenres of music today than there was back in 1991, right? Like, it's incredible that people are, if you track ID a mix, people are playing 10, 12 genres a mix.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Or, you know, this is the time of year where Spotify does its like wrap up thing, right? And like it shows you like what your top genres are. Like I saw like my number one for this year was Float House. I was like, what the fuck is Float House?
I was going to say, what the
yeah,
fuck
what is Float House?
I saw that on one of my friends' stories. I was like, I've never heard of this one.
So I looked into it, and like they're kind of categorizing that like octa, like Eris Drew, kind of retro warehouse sounding house music as Float House.
I play Float House too then.
Yeah.
I love octa.
Love octa.
Oh boy.
Like a lot of breaks in it as well.
Yeah.
I think she and Eris Drew played a party here like recently, or they're playing one.
I was gonna
soon.
say, I think that's this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be really cool.
There's just too much to choose from. Like, I was looking tonight. I was like, oh, I don't have anything scheduled tonight. Like, what could I go to? I was like, oh, I could go to that. I could go to that. I could go to that.
The age-old problem of how many parties can I?
Yeah, I think Dialogue has a thing tonight.
Yeah,
I think with Goody. I think Goody's the headliner.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah.
Is Incognito involved in that?
Maybe there's like a lot of cross pollination.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like
collab party.
Yeah, or it's like in the movie business where everyone gets like an executive producer credit, and it's like, well, what did you really do for that producer credit? And sometimes it's just like cutting a check.
Yeah.
So I wonder like if in the promotion world that happens too. Like, hey, like I'll throw you guys like $5-10 grand toward your expenses in exchange for like a cut, and then you throw my
front
logo.
You some speakers.
Yeah, like I'm a co-financier of your party, executive produce. I don't know if it works that way.
That's so
if not, it should. Like let's borrow from Hollywood. Let's borrow from the way they do things.
Yeah, they've got quite a system going.
Yeah, they have a tried and true system.
Yeah.
But I guess taking a step back, I wanted to kind of probe a little more in terms of like, so what was your actual like intro to dance music? I mean, I feel like most of us have a very similar story of like we were teenagers and we discovered a particular album and it was kind of, and then maybe a rave in the mix and it kind of went from there.
Well, I've just been I just have been listening to, the first artist I remember being young coming across on YouTube was Paul Johnson.
Okay.
And I kind of brushed over it at first. It was there, but it wasn't. I was kind of like going back and I'd heard some, I wouldn't even have called them house or techno until recently, but they're kind of slipping past my name, but I would have called them like funk.
Okay.
But it's, I guess, house or techno. And I was kind of just like oddly exposed to it at a young age just through being a music freak. And then it just kind of like progressed a little more. And then obviously you get to the age of where you can party.
Right.
And that it just consumed me. It just...
So you would say you were kind of long into the music until you got to the point where you were like, oh, okay, I can actually try this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I was, I wouldn't go around telling everyone, oh, house and techno is my favorite music in the world. I would probably say metal and jazz would have been for quite some time. And then being a jazz head, I mean, you just cross into house so easily.
Right.
It's just right there. It's just right there. So I regularly had heard it talked about on podcasts, and people had just mentioned that, oh, you should check this out. And it's like, oh, I kind of like this kind of music now. Or I'd heard Deadmau5 back when I was like 8 or something like that, like young, and didn't like it. I was like, oh, it wasn't for me. Just I heard it and I was like, it's cool. And I really thought what was so appealing at a young age was like, it was not bands. It was not studio recorded music.
Right.
And that to me just was so interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that we've reached an age where there's no such thing as a rock star anymore.
Oh, yeah. I was telling somebody this at a party maybe 2 weeks ago, what the fuck happened to Ozzy Osbournes of the world?
Yeah,
Where did they go?
Yeah, or the bands, right? Like, there's no like nobody talks about there's bands touring and they're trashing hotel rooms. Like,
no, and like
it's like not really a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's like there's like pop stars.
Yeah,
and like influencer.
I remember having a conversation with someone, kind of around my age, so kind of late 30s, and they were talking about, they had referenced like, this person just wants to live the rock star life or something. I was like, what rock stars are you referring to?
You mean the ones in the 70s?
Yeah. You mean like a DJ, the DJ life?
Yeah, that's the new rock star life, I guess. It's funny because I'm quite a quiet person, if that's, when you're asking earlier what the life of a DJ is. I am so impressed with how some of these people can just go and go and go. I used to be like that, but some DJs it's so interesting how people are the way they are. They play, some people play, like I think E-Tap Kyle was playing he was playing here, then Mexico, and then back here tomorrow, and like bouncing around, going to Russia, and
man, that's a tough life.
Yeah, but then some people just kind of go here, go there.
That's
play
true.
A show here, play a show there.
I guess so if you're a touring DJ, you have a manager and agents presumably, right? And they give you the menu, like, do you want to take this gig or do you not? And I guess some DJs are a lot more selective, and other ones are just like, bring it.
Yeah, it's definitely. I think that's what's kind of gotten it's like clubbing's so universal, so it definitely kind of turned into, through like media platforms, it turned into DJs being rock stars.
Yeah.
It
was inevitable, right? Because like you don't need to understand lyrics. I mean, that's what I always loved about dance music. It's like so universal. Like,
yeah, it's like you can like the way a song sounds, and then someone starts singing.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, next.
Yeah.
And I think that's definitely I think that's why people have this is my favorite die-hard band. They make exactly what I like every time. Their sound, they're this, they're that. It's, it's harder to come by when it's vocals.
Right.
5-6 people playing multiple instruments, putting their heads together.
Yeah, there's a lot more that could go wrong. So when it goes right with that, right,
it's really right.
Yeah, it strikes a chord.
Yeah, but I mean, people there's people that sit in their rooms for 2-3 days straight, just playing around with machines.
Yeah.
And the amount of music you can make in that time is incredible if you have the turnaround time to do it. And with the availability of having Ableton at the tip of your fingertips now, and being able to go to stores and buy hardware so easily.
Yeah.
If you just have X amount of money in your pocket, or trick the bank into giving you money.
Yeah, or you can do installment payments with Guitar Center.
Oh my gosh, it's so.
Yeah.
I almost ruined my life the other day. I put so much stuff in the cart, and I was like, wait, you're telling me I can make payments for the next 24 months on this? Oh boy. And it's if people have the bug and they want to get it out, they can now. It's not you just got given a guitar from some dude in the 60s and then you got to learn it.
You can figure out a way.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And that's what I love seeing in techno, and it's getting younger and younger and younger too.
Yeah. Although I am pretty mad at Pioneer, especially at the price that they're selling shit for. It definitely does not cost them anywhere near that. I want
somebody needs to be a whistleblower and go in, get hired at Pioneer, and then toot the horn and tell how much it costs.
Yeah, it got really bad when this financial firm out of New York that's really famous bought Pioneer DJ.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and then they were when they bought it, they're like, okay, we own you now. We're gonna jack up the prices of everything. And then they actually sold it to somebody else, but the new owners, I think, are just keeping it. They're well, we're making this much money.
Yeah, I want to get 2 more DJs, and I'm just why do they cost the way they do?
Yeah, it's insane. I ended up buying.
It's disheartening.
I ended up buying the Denon decks because I looked like just feature wise. And granted, I get that, you know, the industry standard is Pioneer, right? And so if you're going to go to any club, it's probably going to be a Pioneer deck.
You can learn on whatever.
Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Like, I'm mainly playing at home anyway, so I'd rather just have the thing that I think has more features than the thing that doesn't.
I mean, Technoids, like some of my best friends in the scene, Technoids, they all done and they're killing it with it. They do everything everyone else is doing. And
plus Denon has shit like the decks have Wi-Fi, so you can like stream music.
Yeah, Ebenoids has blown my mind with just standing there showing me like you can play 2 tracks on one deck. Yeah, and just
you can DJ a whole set from one deck because it has like 2 outputs.
I'm pretty sure my Audio J only got one of them at home. Okay, and he just plays on one, and I'm like, how? I didn't believe him. I thought I was missing something in the conversation. I was like, what's going on? No, you can't be just playing on one deck. What? But yeah, and I guess you can adjust the grids live on the. Yeah. If you're having a hard time aligning something, I guess people can like. I don't know how you do it, but you can drag it and.
Yeah, I mean their analysis shit isn't the greatest, but I heard Rekordbox is not the greatest either in terms of.
I think Rekordbox is garbage too.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, that's
people tell me that like you'll analyze a track in Rekordbox and it'll be like it'll tell you it's like 160 BPM when it's 20. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But still, like, because like do you pre-analyze or do you just really?
I don't have that patience.
Oh wow.
I mean, maybe sometimes like if I have problems with tracks and I really really want to play them, then yeah, definitely I'm gonna like go, you know. Mark them on the CDJs and then have to analyze them.
Right.
But I think that's kind of just, I'm kind of weird when it comes to my DJ sets because I don't really plan anything. I just kind of wait to see what they're playing.
Right.
Because I don't want to be wrapped around this one idea and then kill the vibe.
Yeah.
You know? So sometimes I'll just... I just kind of have all this music on a hard drive, and if I feel like pulling it off and playing it, and it could be given to me from someone, or who knows, and sometimes I just don't feel like going in there and, you know, hitting analyze and sitting there for however long it takes, but I don't even notice it. I don't know the difference.
Between...
I don't see much of a difference in, like... using my ears to
okay.
It just takes, I guess it's like quicker, or I don't know.
I think, I mean, yeah, the manual beat matching, certainly an important skill to have. For me, it's just annoying that I have to spend that time to do it when the technology exists to like streamline it.
That's the straight up most solid answer I've ever heard to my view on it. Most people are like, oh, you're just trying to say you can manually beat match. I'm like, no, I'm impatient.
Yeah.
That's and it's funny because that's how I started to feel about looping. I had like a little accident with one of my CDJs and like now my loop buttons don't work. So
oh shit.
Now that it's not there, I'm like, like, damn, I need this. And I don't need that because you don't have it when you play on records, but yeah, it's like now that they have installed this feature on my CDJs.
You feel like
it's taken away from me. I need it.
I mean, I use loop a lot, and I think like I used to play on Traktor, and then with Denon too, you can move the loop while it's playing.
What do you think of Traktor?
I think the analysis software on Traktor and like the interface it's the best software, but their hardware is weak sauce. Like. They used to be able to like link up with other manufacturers' hardware, right? Yeah. So you could have a Pioneer controller for Traktor, but somewhere along the way they're like, no, we're not doing that anymore, and you can only use a Traktor controller with Traktor, which the controller is good, but if you're like a Traktor person, I guess you have 2 options. You can use HID mode with Pioneer, which I guess solves your problem.
Okay.
or you show up with your controller like, hey guys, like, can
here I am. That's so funny. It's always been a really interesting. I read about it online all the time, and just like I love talking to people who use it because it's interesting. I always am. That's probably one of the most fascinating parts of like the new DJ wave with like not it being all vinyl. You know, it's like you have an option to go.
Yeah.
The, industry standard way, or you can play on Traktor.
You can do other stuff, and you can do hybrid, right? Like with HID mode, you're still playing on the Pioneers, but it's all being routed from your computer.
I didn't even know that's how it works. That's crazy.
Yeah, like basically your CDJs are like a controller for your software on your computer.
Wow. So in depth.
But I mean, I think the functionality of Traktor is fucking amazing. Like the level of detail you can get into with the effects and stuff.
That's tight.
You can do like send delay and like have like crazy delays going on top of the track that you're playing, and then like
that's tight.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely gives you a lot more optionality in terms of like
intuitive.
In terms of like making your sound distinct.
That's sick. That's a really cool feature to have, though.
And like I said, everyone should know how to manually beat match, but if it can make it so that you don't have to worry about it, I ain't mad at it. And Traktor's the best at like.
So do you not have to on Traktor?
No, and their analysis is so good that you rarely have to fuck with the grids. So literally, you just throw your tracks in. It'll analyze in real time.
I didn't know
and
that.
You can just play. So a lot of times when you see like DJs, like even Carl Cox I've seen him use Traktor with Pioneers, like they're doing it because it saves them the trouble of having to worry about beat matching, and which frees up bandwidth.
I know a developer uses it. He's probably my favorite, like from the LA scene. I love him.
People name check him a lot too. Like I haven't seen him play live before. Okay.
Got it.
Okay.
Got to see him in LA, especially.
Okay.
Like on his night, he is one of, in my opinion, he just reads the crowd so well here. Just one of the, I think he is a part of Droid Behavior. They just do that whole group of guys like Truncate, and they're so knowledgeable at playing to the LA people.
Yeah.
It's admirable to watch.
They're legends.
Oh yeah.
And like, there's definitely been some evolution there too, because I think when Droid Behavior first came to the scene, their shit would have been considered minimal house.
Yeah, it's minimal too.
Yeah,
I love minimal music too. So,
but now I think it would just fall under the techno bucket, and then, or it's advertised as techno, right?
Yeah, I think so. I haven't really looked into what they're doing too much.
Okay,
not gonna lie, but I always thought they were like minimal. I never even knew they changed their sound. Yeah,
I think like Truncate for sure is considered like a techno.
Oh yeah.
Maybe in today's Beatport genres, he'd probably be considered like a hypnotic techno DJ or something.
Like raw.
Raw. Which was like when they first did that, I was like, is this a joke?
God. I have the hardest time when I'm like trying to find music on there. I'm like, I want break beats. I'm like, are these kind of break beats? Like, why does these, what is this music?
And then for a while they had Left Field House, which had a lot of breaks in it. And then they got rid of Left Field House without telling anybody.
Not gonna lie, I liked when that one was there.
Yeah, I did too.
Finding the weird music so much easier.
I really liked that genre and the stuff they were putting there, and they got rid of it. And
they were like, I don't know what to call this. So
just
Left Field House and techno.
And then like when they threw in like organic house, I was like, I mean, I ain't mad at like Playa Tech, but like just call it the Playa Tech genre. Like
I was so confused because I guess like people are like, oh, you play organic house, and I'm like, all right, I play organic house. I always thought it was Playa Tech. For so long.
So like the New Year's mix you put out, I would consider that like kind of Playa Tech vibes. Oh yeah. But some people would consider that, it's organic house.
Yeah.
I think what distinguishes organic house from Playa Tech is maybe BPM, because if you listen to like in Beatport, like organic house is all like 110 BPM.
Yep.
Yeah. And like a little heavier maybe on like the yoga samples. of like
like the didgeridoos.
Didgeridoos and
it's very
like Hindu temple.
Music.
Yeah.
It's cool. I do enjoy that kind of music too. It's a totally different wavelength from where my head can be at most of the time. But
I think there's a time and a place for everything, you know? You know, and there used to be a time where, you know, there used to be multiple rooms at the party and you can experience everything at one night.
I think that is so cool. Like, I love the idea of like having house at a techno party.
It used to be like house, techno, trance. You would have like the three, like the holy trinity at your party.
Yeah.
But not so much anymore.
Oh, yeah. It's, you know, it's funny because like back, like I'd say a few years ago, hardcore wasn't nearly as popular as it is now, and it's like dominating scenes everywhere.
Yeah, and hardcore like rebranded itself as like industrial techno.
Yeah, what was up with that? It's so funny.
Yeah, like, oh, isn't this just hardcore?
It's
because even like the aesthetic of the people who play that shit it's still like the old school hardcore. Like they look like metalheads and, you know, like almost like a little scary and
it's gothed out.
But now it's techno. Well, it's like, I feel like EDM used to be a term for all of electronic dance music at one point, and then it got co-opted by the Afrojack and
I never understood the EDM. I've like tried to like Reddit dive and like see what people like, see if I can get a straight answer on like this is why it came about, or this is the track or the this or that got the name EDM coined.
Because I think what it was like, I remember like in the late 2000s, like so like 07, 08.
I was too young to remember that.
EDM had come out as like a term for all of dance music because people were like, there's too many genres. So let's call all of it EDM, right? And it's all within that bucket. But then when like electronic music started getting big in the US and it was all like Skrillex and Afrojack, people in their minds thought that EDM referred specifically to that sound. And so like, oh, I only listen to EDM, like Afrojack and Calvin Harris, not trance. Not realizing like, do you hear what you're saying? Electronic dance music, that's like a broad term. So you're saying you listen to electronic dance music, but you don't listen to house or trance. Doesn't make sense, but that's kind of where it started, right?
Yeah, no, that's super funny.
But I feel like that's almost happening to techno now, where like the word gets so overused now that it's starting to lose meaning, and like what techno actually means is starting to mean nothing.
Yeah, and I love that you brought that up, because I think about this on a regular basis, because people are like, oh, you're a techno DJ. I'm like, no, I'm not a techno DJ. I don't consider myself a techno DJ. It's just not where I find myself.
Right.
And that's specifically because I don't just play techno.
Right.
You know, and it's like an umbrella term for music. I feel like now it's people hear trance and techno.
Right.
They hear, I don't know, some like break beat that's got 4 on the floor, and they're techno.
Yeah, everything is techno, and everything is like now it's a verb.
People hear house. If people don't even know, they'll hear house and be like, oh, this is techno.
Yeah,
because it's like the broad, big term.
Yeah. So I feel like the best I can say now is just like, I'm a house and techno DJ. Like, and it's funny. So you'll know, I've noticed that like promoters that kind of capture the full gamut, you know, like Into the Woods, Dialogue, Midnight Lovers, they build their parties as house and techno. So they're like, we're kind of like, we're trying to encompass the full gamut of it. Right. And then the ones that only say like, we're firmly techno, right? It's kind of like that harder sound, like veering on industrial-ish. Yeah. And then the people who say they're only house, it's like tech house.
I mean, though, like I'd say like, think about it. People are like, oh, Tresor is techno.
That's techno. For me, that's like the real shit.
That's like electro now. Even,
and they've
been on this like weird curve for the last 10 years, it's just got a little less straightforward technically, and it's so. But you're right; it's definitely more industrial.
Yeah, like they're like, this is what this means now.
Oh yeah, it's techno has become hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm just like, whoa, oh my god, how does your brain compute these sounds, man? Like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah. I remember like shopping Beatport, and I'm like, wait, this track's 150 BPM? Like, because that happened. I've talked about it on the show, but like it happened gradually. But I remember like I was like, wait, it's like every month you would see the BPMs like go up a little bit more in terms of like the music they were trying to like push out to you.
During the like plague times, you know, like we were seeing like I was hearing people's music just like randomly just a little bit harder. I'd remember a few years ago I'd be like sweating balls on the dance floor, like dancing my heart out if it was at 140, 142 was like grooving. And now it's at the beginning of the year. Ebenoids, the head of Technoids, we were in the studio and she's pumping out like 170 hard tech. And I'm like, oh my God. Like I've never heard anything like this before.
Man.
And now people dance to it like crazy. They love it.
That makes me feel like kind of the old man on his lawn. Like, what are you kids listening to?
I think that's me. That's how they must see me. I go and I love them, and they're all incredible artists, but it's just so fast for me now. I'm just like, I don't move that fast.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it. Like, I feel like I kind of gotta check out. Like once we're above 135, I think that's my like upper limit.
I have a great time when it's 135.
Yeah. I have a fantastic time, and I have a fantastic time at 110. Like that works for me.
Call me lame, but whatever. Yeah. It's funny.
Bro, you only listen to low BPM, bro? Like what kind of whack shit is that?
Oh, it's so funny. I'll go to studio sessions with them, and they're like, I'm like, I can't keep up with you guys when we're playing back-to-backs, and they're like, and it's like crazy because it's a whole new ball game now, this fast technical mixing. I love technical mixing, but the fast technical mixing, it's impressive to watch.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Have you heard of high tech? It's like a offshoot.
Psytrance?
Yes.
My best friend is a high tech nut.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Because that shit's like 180, 190 BPM. It's like, I'm like, how are they even fucking mixing
this? My girlfriend just cracks up. He like comes over to my house and puts it on, and it's just like dancing around my house, just freaking out. And she's like, what are you doing? And it's, oh my God, it just sounds like a crazy acid trip to me.
I mean, I guess it's all about what drug is sort of being paired with the situation, right? So I have to imagine, if you're tripping on acid, maybe that high-tech shit hitting something. What I have yet to experience is the combination of like MDMA with the crazy techno. I don't know what that's like.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
I don't know if there's much that beats a pill and a dance.
No, for sure, pill and dance. But in terms of like, so I know what it's like. I know what it's like paired with like house music and progressive house and slower music.
Just the hard, fast.
But at that higher BPM level, I don't know what
possession. It's nuts.
Okay, so you attest to that experience.
I will.
Okay.
I'd say everybody should do it for their mental health at least one time.
Okay. That's a pretty glowing review there.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, you go home.
Right. Yeah, or you
go home and play with something soft.
Yeah. Okay. I might have to give it a shot.
I think that's like the coolest part of where the techno and house scene has become, though, is like there's all these, like you said, I have the hardest time picking what parties to go to. I was almost gonna go to 2 parties last night. I was gonna go to 2 parties today.
Oh, shit.
And like I just like am having such a hard time picking because it's just so stacked the last few months, and it's unreal.
Yeah. It's like all the pent up demand from the pandemic or something.
But it's so different too. It's not just like, oh, it's all hypnotic techno. It's all classic house, you know. It's like hard techno, hypnotic techno, you know, more groovier, breaky stuff, and vinyl and house and vinyl techno and kind of everything. And jungle stuff popping up.
The gamut is definitely insane.
LA is pumping it out. I hope we continue this because I think we could actually.
I feel like we're definitely winning. I don't know. I mean, New York. I was just in New York in July, and
how was it?
It was great, and they have a very like robust scene right now too.
I have a hard time staying here when I see some of the raves they have right now. I'm just like, man.
Well, I definitely for you had mentioned before that you're from Southern California. I definitely highly recommend for anyone who grew up here, which I did, to like do the rite of passage of like living out there for like 3 or 4 years.
I don't know if I can do the summers, man.
The summers are rough. The summers are rough, but it is a unique experience. And what I still maintain is like New York is hands down the greatest city in the U.S.
I agree.
My vibe is more second best, you know, with LA. That's more my vibe. Hats off.
The second best.
Yeah, hats off to New York.
I'm personally, other than the music, I don't really like it here. It's not for me. Okay. I don't like the weather.
Really?
I was freaking out with the traffic. Just driving over to your place, I live 5 minutes from you, and I'm like, oh my God. Fuck this. Why are you driving like this? And there's like some tweaker with a shopping cart in the middle of the street.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, this is what's holding me up?
Well, dude, I feel like
stress levels are up here. Oh,
LA has declined like a lot since the pandemic started in terms of like the encampment situation, the garbage, the traffic, the air quality. It's all like flushing down the toilet.
So disheartening.
It's really disheartening.
People deserve to have some sort of home or help. It's crazy. LA just pretends like they don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, and well, it's like people don't know what to do, right? It's like where do you even begin?
It's I mean, you go and party in it too.
Yeah.
Drive right through it to get to your favorite rave.
That's the thing.
And it's like I don't know how there is not something. I mean, how do you do something about it? But it's so bad, and we see it every day.
Yeah.
If you live in Los Angeles County, it's a second part of your life. It's so rampant that I think a lot of people don't even notice how bad it's gotten because they're just like, oh, this is the way it is. I literally almost got like shanked at a ATM in downtown recently just because they're just not helping. I don't want to say it's like sketchy because I don't want to label people as sketchy, but it's just negligence on human right.
I mean, I was mugged like not too long ago in downtown.
What?
Yeah.
God.
And like, as someone who's lived here like on and off their whole life and has never felt unsafe.
Okay, there's a reason why I run around.
Yeah,
I run.
It was like an inflection point. Like, oh shit, like
it's
like it's a new vibe. No, it's all good. Like it wasn't like that long. It was like a year ago now actually. But still, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I feel like society at large is definitely kind of not doing so bueno. But it's weird because like I was saying, like the pandemic has definitely people's on an individual level seem to like be growing and kind of like growing into their creativity, like expanding into their true selves. But at the same time, like everything outside is like kind of like going down the tubes.
It's so bizarre because some people that I never thought I could see like start to progress in certain ways in their lives, whether it's like just idea based or, you know, whatever it so be, like whatever it may be, like people started really doing some like thinking about how things were, you know, and things have been getting more talked about and better, maybe, you know, but it's like, outside in like LA, I don't know if you had seen, but it's there's this new Netflix documentary about the homelessness in LA, and
oh really?
It's like 40 minutes. Anybody from the United States, anybody in the world needs to watch this because it's. I guess I didn't even know this. I guess we declared a state of emergency.
I mean, as it should be. I think the air quality situation is also a state of emergency. I don't know if you've checked your phone lately, but it's
I
like
have really
routinely
bad lung problems from smoking.
Yeah.
And I, the other day, was like having the hardest time. I was walking up a hill and I was just like sweating. My skin looks bad from it. It's like, what are we going to do about this, man?
Yeah. I mean, not to get into crypto, shout out to crypto, but like I honestly believe that Bitcoin will save us. We don't need to get into the, the details there, but I'm hopeful that Bitcoin will save us.
I hope so. Something needs to save us because we are fucked.
Yeah, we're
the
pretty
world
fucked.
is going in a direction that I don't think anybody's going to want to see it in 20 years. We're going to turn around and be like, oh shit, we did that.
We're fucked. But buy Bitcoin, not financial advice. Not a registered financial advisor, but you should all buy Bitcoin. Well, on that note, dude, it's been great getting to know you.
Likewise, man. This is
Is there anything you want to plug? I know you have some interesting projects kind of in your pipeline.
If any people want to check out View series on YouTube, we'll be on YouTube. We might do Twitch. I don't know how I feel about it. Twitch confuses me. We're going to just be doing a window podcast. So if anybody wants to
sets, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm currently my apartment's a wreck right now, so I'm changing everything around. Got a new table, mounted cameras on my wall, and
awesome.
Got some techniques coming.
Okay.
Just the whole 9 yards to just hear people be 100% genuine behind the decks. And we're also going to give you a bottle of wine. So you get to watch someone spin drunk and just enjoy. Because I feel like the thing about LA, I'm talking about LA, it's beautiful here, though. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
I have a really nice little window. So I want to kind of utilize one of the nice parts about living here because I'm starting to find very few.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can look forward to the Side Note View series cross collab.
I would love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then I guess let people know where they can follow you on the gram.
Oh yeah, you can find me at darkportals_. Dark Portals on SoundCloud or at the rave.
Dark Portals, the aesthete. Get in for the content and the music. And obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe. Obligatory, smash that like button, hit the bell, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Bring it back now.